Hello! Welcome to ban list prediction time. The ban list could be coming out today, it could be coming out tomorrow, could come out on Friday. By the time you see this list, you might already know I have no idea what I'm talking about. Zenkai is going to be a set that really changes up the format a lot. With what we've seen, it's quite exciting. It gives the game a much needed shake-up, especially after kind of a, for me, not a very interesting format, but for other people, maybe it's been the craziest format of their entire career of playing this card game. For me, not so much, but you know, formats come, they go, and I think this is going to be a very exciting format. But I also know that Bandai, when it comes to predictions, are completely off the wall. They never seem to agree with me on much. So, Bandai have their own way of doing things. They're going to throw in curveballs, but from speaking to people in the community, looking online at what the conversation's about, from viewing PPG and whatever regional events, the UKGE, whatever I could watch on Twitch, whatever I could stream, I watched and saw what other people were saying. And yeah, from my own experiences, I think this is what is in the conversation at the very least of getting hit. Starting off with the old Majin Buu, Agents of Destruction. Do I think this is guaranteed to be hit or banned? No. I do think it's worth talking about though, because this card is super powerful in what it does, and especially with the decks that are currently in the meta of SS4 Vegeta and the Gamma deck, which the Gamma deck is absolutely cleaning up. It's probably the best deck of the format. I don't think they'll hit Gamma because it's a new deck and they still want to sell sets, and obviously banning the deck that just got an Altar Leader, it's not going to happen. They never ban a deck that quickly unless it's very nefarious, but unless it's incredibly degenerate. But Gamma's not, it's a very powerful deck, but it's not super degenerate. But Majin Buu Assault of the Agent of Destruction, especially with the fact that this essentially allows a lot of blue decks to start off not only with 3 open energy, but this gives them the extra 4, and then just using Senzu Bean opens up the Golden Avenger and stuff like that. So blue becomes an incredibly powerful color again after a long time of being irrelevant. This card, I think, single-handedly brings it up a few levels in the fact that it's a blocker, it's -1, removes the card, it draws, untaps. So really, I mean, technically speaking, this guy guarantees at least 2 attacks won't go through, and on top of that, the fact that it restands in energy if you have a blue leader, since you probably guarantee you that you're going to get at least 3 negates thanks to this boy just being on the field. The problem being with Gamma and SS4 Vegeta is that you usually get this guy out before turn 4. If the card specifically stated that you'd have to wait till turn 4 to play him, then I wouldn't say he's super powerful, but he's still super powerful, but you know, the RAM strategies allow him to come out turn 2, turn 3. So I think, and that makes a huge difference, and the fact is blue draws a lot, and by the time you remove him they'll just play another. It's not a big deal to them. In fact, sometimes you're helping them by removing it. So I think that for that purposes, do I think it's getting a ban? I think there's a 40%, maybe 30% chance of it being outright banned. But I think similar to the way they banned Piccolo, because that was the most powerful unison, now that it's been limited to 1, you don't see it obviously as much. But I think that this is easily taking the crown as the best unison now that it's at 4. I think to be fair, I think this should be limited to. I think it's a really great unison, and putting it at 1 is, I feel like, with its level of strength where it belongs. It's a really beast of a card, and but blue shouldn't see it every game. It gets really tiring having to see this all the time. Every blue deck pretty much plays it, because why not? It's super powerful. So I don't think it would be any harm in banning this guy, or limiting it. Sorry, I think limiting it's good. Videl, Miraculous Aid. There's only one deck taking advantage of this, and that's Bulma. Bulma's a super old deck. I think they won't hit Bulma or ban the leader, but this kind of card makes it very degenerate. Bulma's not completely overtaking the meta, but I think anyone who's unlucky enough to have to go up against the deck and deal with all those blockers, having to deal with a potential of 8 super combos goes against the game mechanics. Definitely wasn't how it was intended, and I think Bandai will definitely hit this card. I think this is completely, this is completely definitely something that should be considered ban worthy. But there's a chance that it'll be ignored because we're not seeing Bulma dominate every event. It's kind of coming up the odd time here and there, but I think it'll be banned just because of future card design and the fact that you shouldn't be able to use your super combo 8 times. Golden Frieza, the Universal Survival. The only reason I'm saying this could get hit is you can replace this with Android 17, you can replace this with the SSB Vegeta. I just put Golden Frieza because he is the most likely of all of the U7 cards to get hit, and they'll want to curve the power. They want to get red players to buy the next set. They want people playing the new Pan structure deck or the SS4 Goku Vegeta deck, or maybe the new Shenron deck, but that deck doesn't look that great. Golden Frieza is the most likely of all the Universe 7 cards in the U7 Goku deck to get hit. Why? Because it's not because most people, when you play U7, this will be the first guy that comes down, so I think by putting it to 1 is what happens. And the funny thing is, I don't think, aside from the Videl card, there's not too many cards I would just ban. I think limiting stuff and making it less likely you see those cards is probably where we're headed. But Golden Frieza, I think you could replace him with Android 17. I think he's probably going to get limited or banned just to curve the power and get people to buy the next set. It's not rocket science. I think that's just how all card games operate, whether you like it or not. Make the last deck weaker, get people to buy the next set. Standard business practice, unfortunately. But you might not get hit. I'm not saying it's a guarantee, but if I was wanting to get people to buy the next set or panic and jump over to the SS4 Goku deck, I would get rid of this boy. Poutine. This card has been in the long run. Just been so many people wanting this banned for a long time. Ultimate Squad, it should have been banned well before Ultimate Squad. Like, this has been in the making for a long time. I think since Son Goku, the Black Son Goku and the Black Bardock card got hit, this should have been joined on that emergency ban list last year, I believe. Bandai has iterated that they hate free play. This is a free play card. It's incredibly degenerate. Ever since this card came out, these two together are the absolute worst to put together. It becomes incredibly degenerate and just really slows the game down to a snail's pace. And with the time rules in this game, I just don't think you can really have a heavy control format and expect to get through 3 rounds. Most games you can kind of see if you go to round 3, you're pretty much guaranteed to have to decide based off either life or the amount of battle cards on the field. So that's why I think Poutine should be hit. Now, of course, they could go off and hit this guy to curve Trunks Vegeta's power, just similar to why I think Golden Frieza should be hit. This card, I don't think this card should be hit or limited or banned or anything. This card should be left alone, but they might hit it to get people to go off and buy the next yellow deck. I don't think that's going to happen, but you got to be prepared for this stuff. Bandai love their curveballs. They love hitting people who didn't see it coming. Now, I don't think Black's going to get hit, but for the sake of it, I decided, just for my own personal opinion, get a little bit of my own thought. Since the ban list came out, Xeno Gogeta, Black's been the worst color because nothing in Ultimate Squad made up for how powerful Thwarting the Dark Empire was an incredibly degenerate card. But the one problem you have when playing Black is that they still use Thwarting the Dark Empire, 4 of this boy and 4 of the SS4 Vegeta. I don't think they'll hit it because Black still isn't strong, and as far as I'm aware, there's nothing in the next set that makes Black any more valuable. Now, some people might say Agents of Destruction is doing really well, but I would count multicolor decks like that or Bardock or the SS3 Bardock as real Black decks because they're mostly dependent on different colored. There's a bit of thunder in the background. I don't know if you can hear that. But SS4 Son Goku Beyond All Limits could get banned. I think also, just kind of elaborating on that point a bit, I think this guy should come back to 4. I don't think this was the card to hit. This card was the one to hit. So this is why I put him on the list. Black's the weakest color. I think it needs to be fixed by bringing Marvelous Might back. I think Xeno Gogeta all around isn't the worst thing to deal with if Thwarting the Dark Empire was left at 1 and this guy was banned. Pretty much giving a soft ban to the SS4 Vegeta card, and then that would allow black players to have this guy, a really strong card, a really strong boss monster for Xeno Gogeta, back in their deck and make it a lot more consistent. But it would also force the fact that once Thwarting is gone, he's gone. And it would also just the fact that they banned Bardock fighting against Faye and the Mass Saint. There was the other card. Oh yes, this instinct, the other black card. I think they should ban this to make people who were playing Gogeta essentially force them to have to play a different Goku and Vegeta combination, because it is so boring seeing them fuse this guy and the Vegeta that makes you warp a card from your hand all the time. I think by getting rid of this guy, gets rid of, like, once Thwarting is gone, he's gone, they can't recycle it, and they get a really strong boss monster back. They just have to play two different Goku and Vegetas, and I think the deck actually goes up a little bit rather than weakens it, in my opinion. Maybe I'm completely wrong. Maybe Xeno Gogeta players are saying that they've suffered enough, and they just leave them alone, or to give them back Thwarting back to 4, which I don't want. Nobody aside from Gogeta players or black players want that back. But yep, that is my ban list predictions. What do you guys think? I know you guys already know. This is completely just my opinions on what could be hit to make the deck or the meta a lot more powerful. Obviously, with Zenkai coming out, there might be cards we didn't even consider were busted. That Bandai have discovered that if you pair this with a Zenkai card, you suddenly have a tier 0 deck. All perfectly possible. I know Bandai love the curveballs. The Blue Baby deck is also doing really well, and that's an old deck. And Bandai do not like old decks getting back in the meta, so the Field Spell or the Blue Baby Either is also in contention. I didn't put this in because I think it's going to go under the radar. I just can't see it being hit. But that's my predictions. What do you guys think? Have you seen that I've missed something so obvious? You're like, Black Tide, how would you not say this boy? How is he not in your predictions? And that's because I just didn't think of it. Yeah, in my personal opinion, that is what I think should happen. Will it happen? Probably not, but let your voices be heard. Comment down below. Just a quick side note I wanted to put into the video, I almost completely forgot, is Senzu Bean. Now, is this going to be the set going into Zenkai? Is it the time for Senzu Bean to get banned, limited? Is it going to be hit? It's been in the game since set 1. I don't think this is the time for Senzu Bean to get hit. But due to this card pretty much now not only being played in blue, but it's played in Agents of Destruction, it's played anything that's multicolor, well, that can use blue. This card is a bit of a problem card for enabling. It's kind of just, in my personal opinion, it's kind of being overused in decks that don't or shouldn't have access to it. Trunks Vegeta being the prime example. Agents of Destruction is another one. It's a really powerful card, but I think it's possible that this card could be errated to just say mono blue leaders, because of the fact that we're seeing it more and more in yellow leaders and black leaders that use multicolor, which I don't think is 100% fair, because the card is so freaking powerful. Can get you out of so many difficult situations, just allowing you to open up, giving you that free energy, but also putting plus 5,000 power on your leader for the entire turn, making it harder for your opponent to finish the job. But I do think Senzu Bean could be a card that gets hit. I think it could. Well, I don't think there's a chance it gets banned or limited, but an errata for it to be only usable on mono blue leaders, or mono blue cards, or only targeting blue, or maybe would only allow you to restand blue energy or mono blue energy. I think this is something Bandai should take into consideration. This card could also get hit as well, just because this is also one of the best counterplays in the game. It's already been errated, but you can't quite often see it thrown into every blue-yellow strategy. It tends to not go away. So this could be get hit instead, but I think Senzu Bean should be errated to just be either restanding mono blue energy or to, and it would curve gamma a bit indirectly by doing that, or be only able to use in a mono blue deck. Just a side note. And remember, have an even more awesome day. Goodbye.